bumping away, streaming for all to see. El Cachorro, El Cachorro. There's a dawn superheroes day today for you and me. El Cachorro, El Cachorro.
Welcome, El Cachorroites, to another El Cachorro review video. So, I just got done watching Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. It's kind of a mixed bag, to be honest. 2/3 of the movie were not very good. It was really not very good. And then the climax, at least, was somewhat entertaining. I guess you could say that for the first movie. I don't think I made a video on I think I did a short on the first video. On the first movie. Well, let's recap the first movie. This Nazi Empire Galactic Army comes to this small farm village to take their farm grain. This is a huge army ship in the universe, but they need the food supplies from this tiny farm village. Which gets contradicted later in the movie when we know that there is a planet and a king that's hosting the rebel and feeding the rebel army that the bad guys find and then blow it up with their super guns on their super planet killing gun on their ship. So a planet full of food, which they could have took and fed their army. But no, they need the food from this small, little farming village. Because plot. So the whole premise for this makes no fucking sense. So that movie made no fucking sense. Oop, how far did I? Oh, well, that's at a minute 40 for a curse. Good thing I'm not a paid person. I don't get paid money by YouTube. So a chick that was hiding in the village who is secretly on the run, and the guy who caused all this bunch of shit with trouble, they go on an escapade to go find and gather warriors to protect their town. The movie is a straight ripoff of Star Wars, Seven Samurai, Ocean's 11, several other movies that it was all blended into one. I think I don't even know what I gave this movie, 5 or 6 or maybe. So the guy that was the Han Solo type guy betrayed them, tried to turn it out. He was just gathering a bunch of high guys with high bounties to turn over to the bad guy, which ended up being some battle on this floating trader station thing, and the bad guys go down. The king of the leader of the rebel army, which sided with them, gets killed. The bad guy falls to his death from the rocks, but then we hear that they found him and they were bringing him back to life at the end of the movie in like the cutscene or final scenes or whatever. So that's how that movie went. So there's your quick recap of that movie, in case you haven't seen it. So this movie, we open up, the bad guys all crystal is a killing cocoon thingy, getting pumped full of stuff. All these glowy wires and stuff. And he says the Scargiver is on Felt, so we have to go to Felt. Because now she's like some massive wanted, big prize to get for. Because the leader of the bad guys is the guy who killed her family and took her in he Thanos'd her, okay? He Gamora'd her, I guess you could say. So then we cut to what else we got? And if you needed a recap, Anthony Hopkins gives you a whole little recap of the whole first movie in like first 30 seconds of this movie. So we go there, and they're coming supposedly to collect their pay. I guess they're supposed to get. I guess they're still expected to pay. Why are they still following this chick who went and so this chick, and they went and united them for an army, and then the guy that they were with betrayed them and tried to turn them over to the bad guy, but yeah, they still decided to stick around with her and follow her. back to her little farm village to protect them. But say, hey, he's dead. We don't have to protect him. But the bad guys just happen to call the troops that they left behind that were killed in the first movie to check. Say, hey, we're on our way to come get the grain. That it's not supposed to be ready yet, but we're on our way to come get the grain anyways. Even though it's, as we'll find out in a little bit later, that it was nowhere near the end of the season yet that they're supposed to have it ready by. So we'll be there in like 5 days. So they're still claiming they're coming for the grain and checking to see what's going on and giving the heads up, even though the dude's now technically after the chick and he knows the chick is from there. So they just called and gave him a warning that they were coming. Okay. So he says, you're wrong. You didn't kill it. You didn't stop them. They're still coming. Oh, well, shit. Yep, so much for that first movie. I thought we thought we beat the bad guys, but they're still coming. So they start planning their defenses, so their goal. So that's when they bring up like the harvest. How long does it take to harvest all the food grain? And they give, I don't know what the time frame is supposed to be that they give. So they mentioned time frames. They say, oh, we got to do it in 3 days. And everybody's like, oh my God, we got to get it done in 3 days. So it sounds like it should have something that took a lot longer to do. So they're technically calling and say, hey, we're coming for the grain. Wait, like I said, way earlier than it was supposed to be ready. So, okay. So they made today. We got to get the grain because we got to get the grain all harvested, and we got to stock it in our buildings so they can't blow us up from orbit because they'll destroy the grain. So that way they'll have no choice but to come down and come see us. Solid plan. I'll give them that. Or they could bomb from orbit and just harvest the grain themselves. So it's a solid plan on that theory. But they still think the main bad guy's dead because she believes she's like, I threw him off. He died. So they start doing. So they all work together and they're all having this big kumbaya moment. And they're harvesting the grain, and our warrior people are harvesting the grain with them and bonding with them. And you got 5 days, and Cora and I think was his name Gunner, I believe, or something like that. Admit they love each other and they hook up and have sex because that's what you do. Well, I guess it might be what you do if you think you only have 5 days to live. Okay, maybe I could excuse that part for them just. But she also confesses her backstory to him, where we knew she was in part of the army, but we also learned that he was the Belisara's plant, I guess you could say, in the royal family. She was going to get close to the daughter, so when they had the assassination attempt where he was going to assume power, her job was to kill the princess. I mean, I don't really know why you needed her to do that part, but okay. Well, actually, no, it does make sense why you have that part, because I forgot the next part. So they kill the king and the queen, but before they kill the king, they make her watch as Cora shoots the princess, who says, I forgive you. And all the little light flies off of her. And then he kills the king after he sees her die. And his plan pretty much was to blame the whole murder on our hero Cora. So she gets blamed for the whole assassination. She very easily fights her way free and escapes on a ship. So, she's wanted for being the murderer of the royal family, the king, the queen, and the princess. I would think more people would know who she was and be after this chick, more likely. We think she's more well known. I guess this farming village obviously might not have that great of connections to the outside world planets to know stuff like that, but it's like a lot of people aren't putting two and two together on who she might be, I guess. Or say, oh yeah, you're just some ex chick from the. I mean, she's kind of hinted to show that she's like an ex military person that escaped there, but she keeps keeping. And the whole point of this movie is she's keeping a lot of her backstory secret. Because yeah. All right, but back. So she does so after hooking up with him. She gives her the backstory. they finish the harvest. They have this big party and they're celebrating and giving everybody their little banner. That this one chick somehow found time to make banners for all our characters. None of the interesting part that happens when they first welcome them back into the town. This is a scene that also made this imagery made no sense. So like, hey, welcome to our village. Thank you for coming to protect us and stuff like that. So they're like the two leaders of the village are welcoming them in, and they keep cutting the shots to just Cora and the gunner, the same people that are from the village. And I mean, you see Titus in the background. It's like, wouldn't it make more sense to show images of the other people when they're talking because they're obviously addressing them? Also, when the chick's doing her speech about I made y'all banners, they keep showing that the main two characters too. It's like, shouldn't you once again be focusing on the other characters? She's talking to them, not the people from the village already. Some weird imagery there. So really weird though. They're having this big party celebration because the harvest is done and dancing and singing and stuff like that. So you got 2 days left before you're expecting your bad guys to show up. But hey, cool. Party. Let them two go hook up some more. So then they finally start setting their defenses. Start training them to fight, and they're cutting how many guns they have and how much ammo they have, and all the sharp weapons they have, and they're teaching people to use the guns and using up some of the ammo. So I guess ammo wasn't really a problem at all because they're just wasting ammo on target practice. So we're all about, like, we need all the ammo we can find. Then you just use a bunch of it on teaching them to shoot. But okay. Then there's a scene where they go out to get. With the meantime time, I guess the bad guys end up sending like a second message, say, hey, how's it going, everything like that. And then they finally put it together. Like, how come he's the only one that talks to us? Where's the other people at? Oh, they're busy out in the doing stuff. And then the bad guy's like, yeah, they're dead. He betrayed us. So why do you keep letting them give them ideas? Like, why don't you fake them out? Like, hey, yeah, we've been delayed a little bit. We're not coming. Why give them the heads up? Why do you keep giving them a heads up? You're coming, especially when the grain was was the grain still the main focus anymore? Since I thought the chick was the main focus. But whatever. So then they go and find the ship that Cora came in. And it's not made clear if when she escaped in her ship, this is where she crash landed, or if she was out on the run for a little bit for a while first. Because supposedly it was mentioned that she's only been there for 2 seasons, which would sound like 2 years. I don't know how long a season is for these people. Kind of made it sound like she's been on the run for a lot longer than that. From some of the actions and stuff that's been going on, so I was like, so there's some questions about the time frame there. But the ship's got power, it's running, it can fly still. So why in the first movie did they need a pilot to take them off world? You could have just went and got her ship, No one just got her ship, and you could have used her ship. Wouldn't they? Even need to go get the traitorous pilot guy. So they just kind of nullified the whole plot of the first movie was pointless because you could have just used her ship. Her ship was still usable. Yeah, it was a bad guy ship, but whatever. So okay, another plot hole. That made no sense. So they decided to hide the ship behind a waterfall in a mountain. Because they have a plan for they're planning on using it for, which was a very which kind of made it sound like they were hiding it because it was their escape option. The plan was things didn't go well, so their original thought was they were going to send down some people to collect the grain. They would take them out and capture them, and then barter. Didn't make a barter with the rest of them, and if it didn't go well, they could have the ship as some kind of fallback, even though that ship was not going to carry many people at all. It was just a drop ship. Kind of what they made it sound like the plan was. So then the bad guys show up, and they launch a full-scale, pretty much invasion. So we got drop ships and all kinds of ships going down to the surface, so So, yeah, they didn't send down a small party just to collect the grain. They sent down a full invasion force. So, our main two characters are waiting right at the edge of the town to meet them. Out comes our main bad guy where they find out he's still alive. And this is the part that makes no sense either. So, the bad guy and Cora, our hero, start talking. And she's like trying to make him a deal, do this, except or your men will be all defeated, blah, blah, blah. We're going to take you down. Meanwhile, they predicted, they found a cabin in the back that had like a bunch of heat signatures, which they feared were the women and the children in Ellie. So he sent a separate team to go there to capture them first to make the villagers surrender. So he admits to that plan, and that she could surrender herself, and that would spare all the villagers. So she's going to do this. So she's like, okay, I guess I'll do that plan. No one needs to die for me. Because all of a sudden this guy is trustworthy. Because, yeah, the bad guys always stick to their word. Hey, people always know about reused tropes in movies and stuff like that. A bad guy making you a deal is never good. The bad guy never keeps his word. So so, I mean, first off, he could have just took her. I mean, he's there. She's right there in front of him talking. They have a bunch of dudes with troops. All they got to do is, all right, you're coming with us. Boom. Take her on board, fly away. You got her. You won. Right there is. So, but he's like, yeah, go talk it over. Go give your boyfriend a hug goodbye and blah, 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 blah. So, but the boyfriend ain't happy with it, so he snatched her gun and he shoots the bell that was supposed to trigger the attack alarm. So they pop out of their little trenches with a bazooka and blow up stuff, and so the big war starts out. So, all this fighting going on. And then, like, him and Cora there are two heroes, like, we got to get you to the dropship. So they're on a mad rush to get to the dropship. Meanwhile, the people that were going to go get the women and children find out that the women and children are armed and ready to go. We got the chick with the lightsaber things, I don't know what they call them in the movie. But the glowing fire swords waiting for them, and she's fighting them all off, and our cute little young hero girls fighting them off. Our little traitorous soldier guys also in there is leading as the defense. So they're pretty much fighting them off there, too. The bad guy is going around. Obviously, he's OP, so he's killing everybody. He kills one of the big... so he gets to get on his ship to fly away, fly back to the mothership. And that's when he kills one of the leaders of the village, the big, strong hunter guy. And then Cora and them get to her ship, so he falls into formation with the other two ships, and they plant a fake smoke bomb to make it look like they're an injured ship. They're a damaged ship. And the bad guys fall for the decoy and take over the ship like Independence Day style and fly it into like the med bay area so they can get repairs and they can get them so they sneak on the ship and as injured soldiers and they're getting taken like med bay to get it. And then they break free, and his job is to go back to get the ship ready to go because he's a useless asshole. Her job is to go plant a bunch of explosives on the generator thingy of the ship. And then she gets discovered, so she starts fighting her way through so everybody's after her on the ship, including they're trying to get to them. We have a couple big hero moments. The Anthony Hopkins robot guy comes back and joins the fight on the good guy's side, and so they defeat a wave of bad guys, and another big wave of the big tank comes in. That's when Anthony Hopkins guy comes in there, and he saves them again and waves them. Then they have another wave of bad guys coming. Actually, no, wait, I think I did that wrong. So they defeat the first wave of bad guys, then the tank shows up, and then the rebel girl, who's now like the big character, because the main rebel, she was like the follower of the rebel leader who died in the last movie, but so now she's somebody important. She takes out that tank. Then a third wave with another tank comes in, and that's when Anthony Hopkins' robot comes in and saves them. So you have a couple saves after save after save after save there. So obviously there's multiple waves of bad guys. Cora's explosions go off, and the ship starts sinking. The bad guy finds her at cuts her off at the hangar where she's getting ready to get on the ship to meet with with Gunner, and they kind of have like a lightsaber duel, which I've seen people on Twitter like, oh, this is how Star Wars needs to take notes because this just changed lightsaber battles forever. I want to go find that guy and ask him what the fuck he talking about. This lightsaber battle was 2 fucking minutes. They're kind of fighting back and forth. The ship's starting to blow up, so the big explosion happens because they were getting ready to aim this. They were getting ready to shoot the big guns at the orbital planet, whatever guns you want to call them, at the city, at the village. And that's when the bomb goes up, so they don't get to blow up the whole village altogether. Because they're like, fuck this, just kill everybody down there, just blow everything up, destroy the grain. We got the girl on the board, so destroy the grain, destroy the people. I don't care if our people die too. But the explosion stops that from happening, so the ship starts crashing. So their lightsaber battle goes into it's very reminiscent of the Clone Wars episode when they did the extra season, and Order 66 happens, and Ahsoka and Rex are trying to fight their way off the ship. So the ship's starting to crash, and they're trying to fight their way free into an escape ship to get out. Kind of similar to that. So they're kind of like fighting while falling, and he loses his lightsaber, and then she loses her lightsaber. So then it turns into like a hand-in-hand combat. And it gets to the end, and they finally get to like where they've hit a wall, so they're kind of there, so they stop falling. And he's choking her to death, and that's when Gunner comes up, who's been shot, got shot at one point, stabs him with the lightsaber, kind of falls forward. She closes the door so he can't fall, takes the lightsaber, cuts his head off. That's so like they dueled with the lightsabers for like a minute before they both lost them, and then they pick it up and kill him at the end with it. So I was like, ooh. Yeah, that's really reinventing lightsaber duels. You're a fucking idiot. Whoever you were on Twitter, I saw that said that. It was, yeah, their laser fire sword stuff looked cool and all, but it was still a 2-minute fight. So it was not that epic of a lightsaber duel. They get on their ship. They're able to get out of the ship before it crashes. And a bunch of escape pods left the ship, and looks like there were another boarding party, so they were coming down for another invasion. And then the remaining rebels that we had in the first movie, when they were hunting for the rebels to come and help them, most of the rebels didn't want to have anything to do with it. So the brother, with a small group, decided, yeah, I'm going to go help these people. Told the sister to, like, you go get everybody else off the planet, go hide somewhere else, as if they found us, anyone can find us. So that's what just tell the king thanks for harboring us, and they deserted the king that has been harboring them, and let them to die. Pretty much, because that was the plot hole I had in the first movie. I thought he told her to evacuate the planet, but I guess it was just evacuate them and just thank the king for his help. And they left him behind to die, but whatever. But all of a sudden, here come the rebels coming in with their little X-wing stuff, their attack fighters. But finally, we get some ship battles. Come on, man. It's just supposed to be ripping off Star Wars. You got at least, have some ship battles. So they come in and they pick off the remaining forces. Korra's love interest, he dies from his wounds. And now keep in mind that Netflix brought Zach in to make a movie. Got so big that they agreed to make it into 2 movies. So then we get to the end of this movie. They're having their big funeral scene where honoring everybody and remember their names. And Korra reveals her secret, which Titus, the general guy, already knew who she was. He was just waiting for her to reveal herself. We also reveal that the princess did not die. She's still alive somewhere. And everybody's like, I'll fight with you still. I'll fight with you still. I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to fight. So this is 100% setting up a 3rd movie. This guy cannot keep to any rule. At least A New Hope had an ending that if they didn't make another Star Wars movie, it had a happy ending at the end. They took out the Death Star. The bad guys, Thrawn was not Thrawn, but Tarkin. Tarkin was killed. Vader was sent flying. They did keep Vader alive, obviously. But they had the big ceremony screen at the end, and that's where it ended. So, hey, if there was never another Star Wars movie, that movie would have sufficed as a standalone movie. Well, these two movies are clearly setting up a third movie. Supposedly he's come out and said he wants to make like 5 or 6 of these things. Unpopular opinion, he's not a good director. This guy has no ability to do what he's supposed to do. Now, granted, I'll give him credit. I love 300. 300 is a great movie, and I haven't watched the Dawn of the Dead remake in a long time, but I remember liking it. His DC movies can be hit or miss with fans. I'll give him that. But other than that, Army of the Dead was garbage. Supposedly there's some Owl movie he made that's garbage. I actually don't know what a lot of his other stuff is. But yeah, this guy really cannot conform to knowing how to make just one cinematic movie. Everything has just got to be some epic scale for him. Like, with his cuts, and especially now that he's addicted to his own cuts and stuff like that, that he relies on to make all his movies better. Sorry, Army of the Dead was terrible. Justice League. Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch was weird and quirky, but I thought it was okay. Legends of the Guardians. That's what people talk about. Watchmen. He did Watchmen. Watchmen wasn't terrible. Watchmen wasn't bad. So I don't know. This guy just fell off a roof once. Once he did his DC stuff, it feels like he just really turned a corner. So 300 was good, and Watchmen was pretty. It wasn't bad. The Owl movie was terrible. Sucker Punch was okay. Man of Steel, I for the most part, I did like Man of Steel. Batman vs Superman, I did not like. I thought that was crap. His Justice League was better, but that's when he kind of started. That's when his ego started. But I think he did with Batman. He released his special cut, which I'm not quite sure if I've ever fully watched that one all the way. That supposedly makes that movie even better. You should not need director's cuts to make your movies better, by the way. Your director, like the extended Lord of the Rings movies, don't make those movies good. Those movies were already good. Those just added extra to the movie to make it better. So an extended cut should not be used to save your movie, to make your movie make sense, like the Batman vs Superman did. Like, let's be honest here. His Justice League cut that he got to do, that was not going to be the movie he was going to make. People think that was the movie he was intending to make. No, that was him doing a lot of fan service that he saw people saying over the years, wanting to see, well, I wanted the Black Superman, I wanted this, I want this. Oh, yeah, man, I was going to do that. Sure. Take notes, got to write that down. I'm going to put that in the movie, got to put that in the movie. You know he was fine. He was taking things that he heard people say on the internet and adding it to what he put in that movie. So don't think that was that movie was his original vision. If you do, you're an idiot. A lot of people are idiots. So supposedly there's going to be R-rated extended cuts on these ones as well. I guess to make some stuff make sense. But so this movie, though, like I said, the first hour of this movie was bad. It was just bad. It was boring stuff. Like I said, we had the plot holes I talked about that made no sense. The final act, with at least the battle, that part was entertaining, even if some aspects of the battle made no sense. What the plan was originally there, but at least it was entertaining. I think I'd have to give this a 6. Like I said, it wasn't. The battle at the end kind of brings it up a little bit because it probably was hovering 4 or 5 just from that first hour being dreadfully bad. As we all know, Keep on. And my scales are usually on the nicer scales of movies. I usually give movies a little more points than many other people will give them. I don't know if I've ever given them. I don't know if I've seen some really bad movies. There's only been a couple times there's been a movie I've watched that I've had to turn off. There's only two of them I can think of. They were both Amazon Prime movies. There was a shark movie, which I should do for which I might if I ever get working on my shark tier list again. I might go back and try it again. And there was like this pimps and dinosaurs movie with like Play-Doh dinosaurs, and there was just this would probably be the only two ones I've ever had. Movies I'll give a 1. Most of them usually the lowest I may have ever gone if something might be a 3. So I'm usually pretty generous. So I will give it a 6. It's a watchable movie. The battle part at the end was pretty good, even with the trademark slow-mo. The story, the plot, and a lot of other stuff makes no sense. I felt that her hiding her backstory really was setting it against the people a lot there, but it is what it is. We'll see how this goes, see if they give him more movies or not. If he gets to continue the sequels there. I guess his rabid fan base would probably do their best to keep everything alive for him, even though they somehow think he's going to do DC movies, but that's gone over with. But yeah, there's my Rebel Moon review. It's okay. At best. Till next time, Cachorro out.